Qualifying dependent, as promised, we've got this. We're talking through it now. We've got these dependents, right? These leeches on our lives. Now, children are great, dependents are great, family members are great. All right. For individual income tax purposes, the IRS allows taxpayers to claim dependents. Generally, let's think about this. Standard example. You got parents and you got kids. Well, the kids aren't filing taxes. Let's think of a 7-year-old kid. Illegal for that person to have a job at all. So that's going to be a dependent. Slam dunk example. Obviously, we'll talk about the intricacies of it, but these are dependents. And what are dependents? If you claim a dependent, this is someone who is not going to file their own tax return and is dependent upon you, you get tax advantages. This helps reduce your overall tax liability. Dependents are individuals that the taxpayer supports financially, and in return, the taxpayer can claim certain tax benefits such as exemptions, deductions, and credits. We got two main categories of dependents. We've got qualifying children and qualifying relative. So we called that dependent relative. Same thing, synonyms there. Each category has its own set of criteria that we have to meet for the individual to be considered a dependent. I want you to memorize the criteria. We'll see these broken out later on, but kind of talking about this overall first. Once we see them broken out, each of the check boxes you have to meet, I want you to memorize those for sure. Now, qualifying children. A qualifying child is typically the taxpayer's child, stepchild, adopted child, foster child, sibling, or a descendant of one of these relatives, such as a grandchild, niece or nephew. So you see, there's different rules. Whereas before, the foster child didn't apply to what we saw, whereas here it does. Just make sure you memorize those distinctions. The qualifying child must meet specific criteria related to age, residency, relationship, support, citizenship, and status. These are the items that you're going to have to memorize. We'll see them on our slides next. If these requirements are met, the taxpayer can claim the child as a dependent and potentially benefit from tax credits. And these credits we will see in our lesson on credits. Now, for our qualifying relative, also known as dependent relative, a qualifying relative is a person who's not a qualifying child, but meets the other requirements related to relationship, gross income, support, citizenship, and filing status. These examples could be parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, in-laws, or even non-relatives. We see could be your friend Steve, right? Who lived with the taxpayer for the entire year as a member of the household. So you don't have to be blood related, or in-laws aren't blood related, but we can see that we even have non-relatives. So questions will be tricky. They're going to throw all these different characteristics of people at you: age and how much they make, what's their citizenship status, and are they related to you? Make sure you're keeping track of all that. If the criteria are met, the taxpayer can claim the qualifying relative as a dependent and benefit from tax deductions or credits, such as the other dependent credit. But also, we just got straight up deductions. We'll talk about that. But really, the big thing to know: do they qualify? That's going to be our commonly asked question. All right. What are our impact here? Claiming dependents on the individual income tax return could have a significant impact. What are our advantages to doing such? So prior to tax years of 2018, we had the Tax Cuts and Job Act. That's going to be something we talk about because, hey, this test is built upon history, built upon all that came before it. So significant tax law, it's going to come up. So before 2018, taxpayers could claim a personal exemption for each dependent, which reduced their taxable income. That's not something we need to know, but think of it like for every dependent, you could claim $500 deduction. So 2 dependents, you have $1,000 deduction. That's not what it was, but I'm just saying that. Although the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act eliminated personal exemptions, it increased the standard deduction, which could still benefit taxpayers with dependents. We've got the child tax credit. So we've got this. This is, like I said, a credit. We will cover this much more in depth when we see our lesson on credits, but the entire exam really is interconnected. Everything we talk about in multiple lessons is just going to come up in other lessons. So that's why I definitely recommend just getting through all the lessons, coming back and doing them all again, right? Get a good general idea of how this all works and come back and then get the intricacies, because if you've seen the credits lesson, then you can come back here and you see where it applies from filing status. We've got the earned income credit. So this is a credit where taxpayers with low to moderate income and have a qualifying child may be eligible for it. It can reduce their tax liability and possibly result in a refund. Extra money, always great. And then the other dependent credit for taxpayers with a qualifying relative, they may be eligible for the other dependent credit, which is a non-refundable credit that reduces their tax liability. Now, by claiming dependents, we could take advantage of these benefits, which lowers your liability and potentially increases your chance for a refund. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of cpa.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.